Good morning, everybody. Joshua Laycock, Lifestyle Evolution. What role do you play in your own life? I think this is probably a pretty fundamental question if you're examining where you're at, where you want to be. I think we all need to look at what role are we playing in our own lives? Are we a bit player in a movie? Like, if you think of your life as a movie, are you a bit player? Are you someone whose strings are being pulled? Are you someone who life is happening to you? Or are you the main character? Are you maybe the director, depending on your perspective on how you want to look at it? It's really interesting when I talk to people and I see their narrative, I hear their narrative on life, and then you frame that in the context of how they see themselves. This ties really heavily into victim mentality. Again, like, are you someone who life happens to, or are you someone who is taking charge and is running your own life? Especially, I've been thinking about this a lot because, I mentioned that my company's been acquired, and if you've gone through that, you're probably like, yeah, whatever, stop talking about it. But it's been an interesting journey for me so far. Because I'll be honest, my first reaction was kind of one of frustration and almost, anger's the wrong word, but resentment. And I was trying to unpack why I was feeling like that, because the company that bought us is big and they're fun and they've got a really good reputation of treating their employees amazingly, and they've got all these crazy resources that I wish that I had access to. So there's no reason why I should have been anything other than over the moon. But I think what happened, or what I came to, was I felt like chattel. I felt like I had personally been bought and sold, and as much as I'm excited to start with this new company, and that journey kind of starts today, I guess. I don't really know. It's a sliding scale, but no one has ever said, hey, would you like to come work for us? Right? And ironically, actually, I turned down a job from this same company several years ago, and they were a different company and I was a different person, so it's not really relevant. But I struggled with this idea of, I had worked very hard throughout my entire career to engineer myself to a point where I got where I was. Like, I had made very deliberate moves in terms of what kind of companies that I want to work for, what kind of schooling was I going to go for, what kind of designations were I going to achieve, what role was I going to work out for myself. And I have been, I've definitely been blessed with a lot of fortune, but I've also worked really hard at getting where I want to be, and I've been very deliberate about the roles that I wanted to have. And then all of a sudden, people sitting around in a boardroom that really didn't ask me decided now all of a sudden that that's completely different, and that this company is a very different company than the one that I've wanted to work for in the past. And I've struggled a little bit with that idea. And then I kind of realized, well, wait a minute. That is such a victim mentality. That is just like, life's happening to me. And I kind of had to give myself a little bit of a pep talk and said, okay, so there are external forces here at play. Fine, so be it. But now, what are you going to do about this? How are you going to manage? How are you going to use all those skills that you've developed in terms of career engineering and all the sort of learning agility skill sets that you've created for yourself? What are you going to do with that? And how are you going to turn this situation, which you at the moment have no control over, how are you going to turn this into something that is beneficial for you, that is furthering your mission, your vision, and makes you closer to the kind of person, man, father, husband that you want to be? So I've spent the last month or so working on that, making contacts, learning about the organization, connecting with people that I think might be my new manager. I don't really know, like, things are changing. And it's not, I'm sure that I'll be labeled as, a suck up or a brown nose or whatever. I mean, that's, I've been labeled that my whole life and I still think it's all bullshit. I play the game, right? I find out, what does this organization need? What do I have to offer? Whose roles might be augmented by the skill sets that I bring? How can I make certain people look good within the organization? I decided to be the leading character in this play, right? I decided to take charge. And I'm doing that more and more in all aspects of my life. My back was a really good example. For a while there, I was really resigned to the fact that I have a bad back and there's just certain things that I can't do. And while I can't be obtuse to the reality that I have a bad back and that's an issue that I have to work on, and so I've decided I'm not going to follow a career in military or law enforcement because, quite frankly, my back going out would be a danger to me and the people that rely on me. So I'm not blind to that reality. But things like doing jiu-jitsu or CrossFit or training or running Spartan races or being a father who can run around at the play place with your kids, I had decided, sorry, back, you don't get a say here. And I've been very deliberate and intentional about the training that I've done and the way that I've taken care of myself so that is no longer an issue. And I think that a very common thread in the people that are successful, however you want to define that, whether it's financially successful, whether it's successful because they've built a beautiful family and they're super connected with their community, or however you define success, however those people define success, they are the leading characters in their play. They are assuming control of the things that they can control, and they are absolutely not surrendering to some sort of a victim mindset. They recognize that things happen to them, yes, but the ultimate outcome is my call, how I react to it, how I respond, and the way that I step up into life, it's mine. And I would challenge most people. I think that I'm ending a lot of these videos with a challenge because I think a more introspection is required. If you're frustrated, if you're an unhappy person, if you don't feel like life is where it should be, whatever the hell that means, really look at, are you the leading character in your play? Are you the one who's stepping up and taking control? Are you assuming command of your vessel? Chances are good you're not, or at least not in all aspects of your life. And I think that you have to in all aspects of your life. You want a better relationship? Take charge. Don't blame the other person. Take charge. You want to be in shape? Take charge. You want a better job? Take charge. Step up. And I think that that's probably what is plaguing a lot of people. And I'm trying to chip away at the mindset and the way that we interact with ourselves and with each other to try to sort of find some common denominators, some things that if we had to create a playbook that, that playbook would serve us and move us closer to who we want to be and where we want to go. So be the leading character. This is not my idea. This is not a unique idea. But identify those areas in your life where you might be, if not acting like a victim, you are definitely surrendering more control to external forces than you probably should. And find opportunities, find those scenarios and go, okay, I can't control X, but I can control Y, and then focus your energy on Y, which will improve the outcome of X. So step into life today. I hope you're having a wonderful one. I'm going to go get a coffee because that's what I do. And I will see you all tomorrow.